A World War II Army sergeant from Roanoke has been identified after 79 years. Sergeant Mayburn Hudson was killed during the war in 1944, according to the DPAA. He was killed during a battle against the Germans in France. His body was unable to be recovered, and he was initially listed as missing in action. Remains were found near where Hudson was killed, but they first could not identify his remains. In June 2019, the remains were exhumed and analyzed, allowing them to finally be able to identify Hudson. And he'll be buried on August 7th in Lynchburg.